Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the Armchair Booking Wrestling Podcast. I'm your host. My name is Stunning Steve Barber, and joining me, as always, is my awesome co-host, Delicious Joylyn Davis.
Hey, everybody.
And it seems like we're missing something.
Yeah, yeah.
So,
No guest this time.
yeah, no guess. Which we not for lack of trying, because we have actually had guests scheduled, but unfortunately they, well, last week we weren't able to record at all. Monday we already had, you
Mm-hmm.
had a family obligation,
Mm-hmm.
and our rules, family
Yep.
first.
Yep.
And then Thursday your internet went out,
Yeah. Yeah.
and that one we were actually scheduled to have Kyle and RN on from Smack Raw podcast,
Mm-hmm.
but I told people, I said I'm not going to do interviews without Dwaylen. I don't like
Right.
doing them without Dwaylen.
Right.
Because it's it didn't matter whatever the circumstances are, because the show just goes a lot better,
Right. Right.
and that way you get to meet people too, and they get to meet you.
Right.
And um, so we're able to record there, and it's also not the first time we've had to like re you know reschedule something because of internet issues. It's happened to
Mm-hmm.
me.
Yeah.
When a tractor came through and just took out my internet.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, it was gone for 4 days. Uh, but this past Monday we were able to get um Jack Stinger, wrestler for the NWF, who
Yep.
she's actually she and I have talked about her coming on the show for a while, and she was finally able to do it. That one was pretty interesting. I didn't realize till she told us at the very end we were her very first interview.
Oh, wow.
So
Yeah. Yeah. That's right.
um, so but it was a fun time, especially her talking about her experiences in the army, because she's an actual army, active duty army, a
Mm-hmm.
captain in
Yep.
active duty. I was like, wow, okay. Like I said, you should have gone Air Force, but whatever,
Yeah.
you know. Um, and so we were trying to also get some other ones scheduled for today, and last minute we just couldn't do it, because we did have another one that fell through.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, you know what? Perfect time to review or preview rather, Elimination Chamber.
Yep.
And yeah, so I mean now I gotta, get back in the we're not interviewing anybody
Yeah. Yeah.
mindset. Oh, so how you been?
Been all right. Busy as usual.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Work keeping you busy, and work keeping me
Mm-hmm.
busy. And weather keeping us busy.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, we just came out of our tornado watch up here.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
Yeah. We've had some heavy winds and stuff here, so and a lot of heavy rain.
uh, got new neighbors.
Okay.
Moved in, to the house where the guy who threatened to shoot me and our other neighbor last, 2 years ago, they
Yeah.
left and somebody else moved in, and um, haven't met them yet, but hopefully that works out a lot better. It couldn't get any worse than the last ones,
Right.
but I haven't really been threatened. Had somebody threatened to shoot me before, but he did.
Hmm.
Oh, but oh, and sorry, my back is kind of. We're both getting old. We're
Yeah.
both, we're both almost at that half century mark, so it just
Yeah.
kind of leaves you with uh, some snap crackles and some pops. Um, but before we get started on the Elimination Chamber preview, I want to go ahead and give all the podcast shout outs first, and then I'll give our contact to listening info. And I'm gonna have to do that kind of slow, because if you're watching on video, hopefully you've seen our new intro. I actually redid that. The last intro, Justin from TNC Sports Talk, he had actually created for us, and he did a really good job.
Hmm.
And we'd had it dead at a year, and I know that because of the Facebook memories that came up.
Hmm.
So we had it right at a year, and I'd already started making nothing. Yeah, it's time to make a new one, and he liked it so much he would like to help make him a new one now too.
Hmm.
So, um, but Justin's super good dude. He was actually He's been part of our series. He was one of the first ones we did for, why we were fans. But Justin, he actually is part of the TNC Sports Talk. That's actually his podcast. But of course, the first person we always shout out, Ted.
Exactly. Always.
Always. The Podfather, Ted the Hillbilly Hill, he gets his tribute. We have to give him his tribute. I've been watching, Godfather lately, but so I mean,
Yeah.
kind of. So, but yeah, the Podfather himself, Ted the Hillbilly Hill. Go check out the Hill Truth podcast. You are, if you're not listening to it already, you're missing out. He actually just did an archived episode because he wasn't able to record a new one this week, but he still put one of
Right.
the archives out. And who he did it with was actually BC from
Awesome.
BC Hunter, yeah, from Wrestling with the Truth. Right now, they're Wrestling with the Truth or Wrestling with the War because they're
Yeah.
doing, yeah, I mean, they're still doing a good job, but they're doing a series talking all about the Monday Night War starting in '95.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
yeah, when Nitro first kicked off and Luger shows up in the very first episode of Nitro, and
Yeah.
yeah,
With the pirate shirt on.
yeah. It almost looks like the pirate shirt from Seinfeld, remember?
It does. That's what I think of every time I see it.
Yeah, Jay's like, it's really not a bad looking shirt. but um, but yeah, that's BC Hunter, Jay Myers from the Wrestling with the Truth. But we also have um the guys from the Dad World Order. They've also been on the podcast as Mike and Eric from that was another good show. It had a lot of fun. I mentioned the Smack Raw podcast. We were supposed to have them on. Now we're going to try to have to reschedule them because their schedule's also pretty busy. So we're always trying to deconflict everything. And
Right.
but if you get a chance to listen to them, two great guys. And there's a lot of other stuff I want to talk to them about as well because they've been kind of open about their sobriety and dealing with mental health issues. And I said, hey, Joelle and I, we've also been very open about our sobriety and our mental health issues. So so I said, yeah, I'm definitely pulling for them.
Yeah.
They've got our support 100%. But they are also associated with the Botch Spots and Chair Shots podcast, which is another good one to go check out. And one that we are scheduled, I'm just kind of trying to confirm it. We're trying to have Bear on from the Wrestling Society podcast. And this is the podcast where Dwayne actually met these folks down at SummerSlam.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Ran into him at SummerSlam, and then Steve figured out that he was already following them on, was it Twitter?
The Dad World Order. Yeah, I think I was actually, we were following each other on Twitter.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden they messaged me, and I'm like,
yeah,
what? Like, yeah, we think we met you at something. You didn't meet me at SummerSlam. I wish you would have met me at SummerSlam. But I know Joel and I were like twins, but
yeah, I know, right? But it's the beards. It's the beards.
It's got to be. I mean, or the hair. But and everybody, if you want to see a real picture of us, you got to watch us on YouTube and look in the intro video. Yeah, because I made sure Joel was okay. I was like, hey, I'm gonna put this picture.
Oh yeah.
When
I'm not ashamed of it.
Well, yeah, I was like, we were officers in the chess club.
I tell people all the time, like they see that picture of me in chess club. It's like I was an extremely late bloomer. Like college late bloomer is what it is.
Oh, I mean, and both of us, we were too skinny.
Mm-hmm.
Either one of us could gain weight in that, those days. Now we can't lose weight.
Well, actually, for somehow I can, but like I'm down to 227.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay, I need to work on it then. I need to work on it a little bit harder.
Like I think it's just I've jump started my metabolism because I like eat all day because I work from home, so I snack all day.
You know what? Maybe that's well. I need to convince my work right now that I should be able to just work from
exactly. I should be able to eat at your desk all day. Yeah.
HR, they screamed at me. Last year whenever my wife had COVID and I decided I was going to work from home, and I got screamed at. We don't know work from home. You've been vaccinated. I'm like, yeah, so was my wife, and she still got it.
Mm-hmm.
And guess what? The next day I tested positive for it too.
Yep.
So whatever, people. But anyway, but yeah, the Wrestling Society podcast. Hopefully, he'll get back with us and we'll have him on Monday. I want to give a shout out to Austin Boyer at the Wrestling World podcast. He's still running solo. He does a great job there. And another one we're scheduled to have on Sunday. We've already had to reschedule twice. Once because of the AFC Championship game.
Yeah.
I was like,
priorities.
I'm not a Bengals fan. They're not Bengals fans.
But you get tickets, you go.
Yeah, I'll
go watch the Detroit Lions if I get free tickets. And
and it's like, well, because it happened to be coming on, it was already on at the same time we were supposed to record. It was like, you know what? He said, "Do you want to?" I was like, "Yeah." I'm not all about the whodunit that happens around this area, but
Yeah.
by the way, congratulations to the Chiefs. It was a
Yeah.
decent game.
Yeah. I was rooting for the Eagles, but
Yeah, so
yeah,
was I.
it was a good game.
I have to root against the Chiefs just based on principle. I just wish they'd come up with the next headline should be Patrick Mahomes has been traded to the Las Vegas Raiders. I will dance naked in the street if that happens. And nobody really wants to see that, but I'll do it anyway.
It's like, but I'll do it anyway. It'll be all
right. But Sunday we're going to have Jamie and John scheduled to have Jamie and John from True Crime Cast. Let's bless their hearts, and they can actually tell us about their experience down in Lexington. Because there's a picture, and I don't think they figured out who took the picture yet, but it's like an official AEW picture where I think it Briscoe was flying through the air about to land on the table. Okay. And you see the guy doing like this.
Yeah.
That's John.
Oh, okay. All right.
That's John. So they were gifted tickets from their friend, Chris Jericho.
Yeah.
So looking forward to having them on. And another podcast I got to give a shout out to, and I got to tell you a little bit, the Mixtape Podcast, and something I did. Most people would be embarrassed, but I'm not because I'm too old to really give a crap. But a couple of weeks ago, they put out an episode. It was 90 songs that you hate, that you hate hearing or whatever.
Yeah.
And of course, Macarena was one of the songs.
Should have been at the top of the list.
It may have been actually.
That and Gundam Style. It's like, oh.
Gundam Style I really don't mind as much just because I can't understand Macarena either, but
that's because you didn't have a 4-year-old that played it nonstop, because that's what Savannah did when she was 4. She discovered that song, and that was the jam. That was her jam all the time.
Well, you know what? If you would listen to it, you'd be as good of a chess player as she is.
Maybe, because
I mean, yeah.
She still owes me a chess match. She keeps forgetting about it. I said,
if there's a way,
I said, you got 24 hours left, or I'm just going to take it as a forfeit.
Oh, there you go.
Got to take a win where I can get it.
if there is a way that I can play her, because she doesn't have an iPhone, and I know you don't have an iPhone, so no. I've been playing my son chess, and he's been trying to beat me, and it's gotten kind of ugly. There was one time, I mean, he actually had me. I didn't tell him this, but he actually had me on the run, and then all of a sudden he made one mistake, and that's all it takes. That's all it takes.
What I did the last time I played Savannah. I had her like 2 more moves than I would have had her, but I made one mistake, and she saw it, and that was it.
Yeah, I mean, and that's so. Like you said, she looks and she sees Beethoven. But the mixtape, they put out a challenge, and they said no, you can't not smile or whatever. You can't try to do the Macarena and be serious about it. And they put out a challenge, send them a video of you doing the Macarena with a serious face. And you had to keep that serious face. Well, nobody responded to it. And so they put it out again. They're like, nobody says video, anything. So I was like, I'll do it, And so I'd send them a message, and I'm like, hey, I said, just want to let you know, I'm gonna do this Macarena.
It's like, I'm gonna do it.
I said, I might have to teach myself how to do the Macarena first.
Right.
But I said, I'll do it. And I got home, and sure enough, I had to go to YouTube. How do you do the Macarena? And I found out it's crap. Yeah, swivel hips. And I did it, and I had a serious face the whole time. And then I sent them the video. The sound quality is absolute garbage because I was, but anyway, I haven't heard back from them, but there you go. So, but yeah, the Mixtape Podcast, another really good, if you like pop culture, that's what they get into, because they were talking about 90 songs in that one. And another one, they were actually talking about 90s songs from England, or from Great Britain. And I actually sent them some, I tagged them on, I replied to their post on Twitter, and I've actually made some song suggestions. Well, they read them on the air, and they've actually been giving us shout outs on their show. And if you go on their website, we're listed as Armchair Booking Podcast is that you listen to as friends of their show.
Right. Right.
So I got to give those guys a shout out just based on that alone.
Oh yeah, definitely.
So is there any other podcasts that we want to shout out today?
No, I think we covered them all.
All right, now our contact and listening info, and
Here
I'm
we
going to
go.
have to do it slow. I can't rattle it off because hopefully, if you're watching on YouTube, you'll see the things pop up either here or in front of Dwaylen. See? But if you'd like to email the show, it is armchairbookingpodcast@gmail.com. If you'd like to find us on Facebook, you can find us on facebook.com/armchairbookingpodcast. If you want to find us on Instagram, it's at armchairbooking. If you'd like to hit us up on Twitter, it's at Booking Armchair. I really hope when I do this, I have it pointing at the right spot. But if you want to hit us up on TikTok, it's also at Armchair Booking Podcast. And if you're watching this on YouTube, you already know the channel. And this is the only video outlet that I know of that we're on. But as far as audio goes, we are just about any audio platform you can think of. If we're not there, let us know. We would do whatever we can to get ourselves added. And I mean that because we have actually got ourselves added on some things, haven't succeeded in some others, but we have tried. And because we were on Stitcher, and then something happened when I tried to get us on Pandora, all of a sudden our Stitcher feed stopped updating. So got to work on that again. But if you want to get some merch from us, it's at tpublic.com/user/armchair-booking-podcast. Yeah, I figure I had to do links on here too.
There you go.
Yeah. So, and if you want to get hold of Dwaylen, you can just look right there at fat_daddy73 on Twitter. And the Fat Daddy is because he's part of Big and Fat with his lovely wife because she is Big Mama. And you can find them on YouTube at Big and Fat. Actually, on YouTube, it's at Big and Fat 2150, something like that. There was some numbers on it.
Something like that. I don't know why the numbers are on there, but
yeah. Oh, that's something I before I was able to change ours to at Armchair Booking Podcast. The numbers YouTube adds it.
Yeah. I've got to get some more. I got to get some more videos done. I've been slacking, so I got to.
Oh, I got to get some more TikToks done. So
yeah, I got to get I got to get TikToks done too because we upload to TikTok and YouTube and Facebook because we have a Facebook page too. So
okay, yeah. So somebody didn't get the link for your Facebook, but actually, you know what? I'm probably on the Facebook. I didn't even think about that, but
you probably are. Yeah,
I'll probably have to get that one added. But I know the TikTok is at _big and fat _.
The TikTok and the YouTube are the main ones, though. It's like I just usually like for people who don't really get on YouTube like that or don't have TikTok, then they can watch the stuff on Facebook. Most everybody has a Facebook, so except for my brother's about the only person I know that doesn't have a Facebook.
One of these days, we need to get your brother on here to ask him why he's a fan.
He does have an Instagram page for his business, but he doesn't have a Facebook.
So there you go. So we need to get Big Terrence on here.
Yeah,
you may be the older brother, but he's the big brother.
Yeah, I always call him my my big little brother, is because he's 5 years younger, but he looks like he's the older brother.
Yeah, because Dwaylen and I graduated high school together. My sister graduated with Terrence. Actually, I think he actually switched to Hoptown, didn't he, for like his last year or last 2 years?
No, he went to county.
Always stayed in county the whole time?
Yeah, he stayed at county.
Why was I thinking he switched to Hoptown for some reason?
I don't know. No, we always lived in county district.
Right. Yeah, because I remember right there on 4th Street.
Yep.
So, but you can also find my non-wrestling podcast called The Cubicle Chat. I'll go ahead through the Twitter right there at cubicle_chat, but you can find it also on all the audio platforms. That's where I go to not talk about wrestling. And my co-host for that one, Mike Stahl, guy I was stationed with in England, and he's like all about movies and pop culture, and how you are with wrestling. He would amaze you with his stuff about movies.
Oh, okay.
So I just associate myself with encyclopedias, and I just kind of sit back.
Yeah, yeah, I get that. I'll have to talk to him sometime because I'm a movie nerd too. So it's like, yeah, it's my thing. It's like movies, music, and wrestling. It's like that's
and
my
that's
thing.
Maybe all three of us we're all three going to do some shows together. So, But yeah, in fact, when he looked at the picture of us, the chess picture, he looked and he looked at me, my part. He said, "Is that a mullet?" I'm like, "It sure is." And then he looked at your hair, and I was like, "And there's the box."
Yep, the high top fade. There it
Yep,
was.
it wasn't quite kid and play,
No, not
but he.
quite. Yeah, I never got it that high because I didn't want to have to manage that. That was just
I mean,
no.
think about that. I mean, he had to duck every time he walked through a doorway.
Yeah, I
You
mean,
know,
mine the way I had mine was enough to work with. So it's like I don't need it any bigger than this
I mean,
because
how do you drive and you're having to do this because your hair is like being pushed
hanging
around?
out he probably
Yeah,
just hung it out the window.
there you
I
go.
mean, he probably just rolled the window down, hung his
You know,
top
he's
of his
like
hair out. And,
like a cocker spaniel or something.
yeah.
So, uh, but anyway, that is all of the contact and listing info.
Hmm.
So had to make sure get it all mentioned down because now we have links. And I've been really having fun with the video editing thing. But like I said, I was talking about my daughter when she does her videos because she has
Hmm.
her channel. Now I know why it takes her so daggone long to edit videos.
Hmm.
It's a pain, and I felt like throwing my laptop, especially when the thing. Oh, it crashed a couple times, and the first time I tried to process the video with Jack Stinger, it got 98%, and it took like 2 hours to get this part. It normally
Mm.
doesn't take that long. It was like I was at 98%, and all of a sudden it stopped. Well, we cannot process the rest of this file. I'm like, are you kidding me? And so I went in, I rebooted, and then I tweaked a couple things, and then the next time it was like 20 minutes done.
Hmm.
So, but yeah, so it's going to take a little bit of work, but I mean, we're just trying to get out a good quality product,
Right.
and that's the
Right.
important thing.
Yep.
So, on to the show. And when I mean the show, I mean Elimination Chamber.
Yep. In Montreal, Canada.
Yep. Oh, and I meant to text you. Um, last Friday, they actually told Jay just stay home for the pay per view. You don't need to
Yeah.
come up there. I'm like,
That's
uh huh.
because that's because he can't go to Canada and Jimmy can't either.
Yep. And somebody had actually mentioned, oh yeah, they're the kid. That's actually they've got waivers. It's like,
No, no,
mm,
they don't. Canada does not play with DUIs. It's like
no, they do not.
you get one, and it don't matter how long ago it was. It's that's a wrap. It's like you're never getting into Canada. I mean, our truth got in some trouble a long time ago, and he still can't go to Canada.
Really,
Jeff Hardy can't go to Canada.
Matt Hardy probably can't go to Canada.
Matt, I don't. Yeah, because Matt
Yeah.
got a DUI. Matt can't go to
Yep.
Canada either. Yeah, there's several wrestlers that have gotten in trouble over the years, and some other countries let them slide, but Canada is like no,
Yeah. I mean, you can't even do a layover in
no.
Canada.
Yeah, you can't even do a layover. It's like
Yep.
no.
Yep. And yeah, because I'm like I mentioned before, my wife, she's a travel agent on the side,
Hmm.
and anytime she books someone international travel, if they're flying through Canada, she has to ask them, "Do you have like certain legal things?" She's like, "Do you have a
Hmm.
DUI? Do you have this? Do you have any? Because if you do, I'm going to have to reroute you through somewhere else." And
Yeah.
so yeah, so they won't even let you come to the airport to sit there in the airport and wait for a plane.
Nope.
Ah, but yeah, they told Jay, yeah, just stay home. So yeah,
Yeah.
they're not gonna be in Canada.
No, they're not gonna be there. So it'll be
So
Solo will be
solo.
Solo backing up Roman. But what's the first? What does Wikipedia have as the first match?
The first match is the men's elimination chamber match for the United States Championship, and yes, did I mention? I think I skipped over a podcast when I was doing the shout outs, and I really, if I did, I'll apologize. The Finish Your Wrestling podcast.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a newer one. Um, they actually were talking about this on one of their latest episodes about it seems like it's a shame that they have an elimination chamber match and it's for the United States title instead of one of the world titles.
Um, I kind of like the change. I kind of like the focus on the quote unquote mid card title. You
Yeah,
know,
they're elevating it.
yeah, they're elevating the title because before it's like the U.S. title was generally not even on pay per view. I mean, you see what they've done until recently when Gunther got it.
Yeah,
What they've done with the Intercontinental title. It's like they treated him like it was nothing, and now they're elevating it, which is, that's another Triple H move because Triple
hmm,
H was, he's a historian of wrestling and he understands the history of the United States title and the importance of the United States title. Because at one time, especially in Jim Crockett promotions, if you were the United States champion, you were automatically the number one contender
yep,
for the world title because you were the number two guy in the promotion. That's the reason.
exactly.
That's the reason why Vader beat up Jim Duggan. He just and won the U.S. title. As soon as he got his title shot against Hogan, he threw the U.S. title away. He's like, I needed it to get to Hogan.
Yep.
That
Uh,
showed, but even though he forfeited it once he got the world title shot, that showed the importance of the U.S. title. He knew he had to have it in order to get to Hogan.
yep. And not only that, but another example was Goldberg. Goldberg,
Yeah.
he won the U.S. title.
Yep.
Then he went against Hogan.
Yep.
And
Yep.
once he won the world title, he had to give up the U.S.
He had to
title
give up the
because,
U.S. title. Yep.
yep. So because you can't hold two, not supposed to hold two titles at the same time.
Yeah.
I mean, I get it because you don't want to have somebody having all the belts because then people just won't want to watch his match.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's Austin Theory's a champion defending against Seth Rollins, Johnny Gargano, Bronson Reed, Damian Priest, and Montez Ford.
It should be an excellent match.
Yeah.
With the talent that's in it. Um, my personal pick would be if I was booking, because we're armchair booking. So if I
We
was
are.
booking this,
Heck yeah, we are.
Montez Ford would be the new United States champion.
I agree.
But he's not going to.
Nope.
Austin Theory is going to retain. The reason I say this is because they are gearing up for a match with him and John Cena at WrestleMania.
Really?
My prediction is Theory's going to walk in as the United States champion. Cena's going to do the job to put Theory over. Theory still walks out the United States champion, and it puts the U.S. title on a world stage.
And you remember last year, Elimination Chamber, because we were all like, who's this Theory cat? He's
Mm-hmm.
walking around, taking selfies, and we know he's VKM's boy.
Mm-hmm.
And then the Elimination Chamber match, we always said Brock Lesnar
Went over.
went over,
The Theory got over.
got
Yeah.
over.
But then it's like the whole selfie gimmick was just dragging him down, and the
Yep.
association with Vince was dragging him down. This Austin Theory is interesting. This
Yep.
Austin Theory is just he's tired of being overlooked. He's tired of being considered a kid and all this stuff, and he's just proving how good he is.
Yep.
If he stays this way, excellent.
Because they gave him his first name back too. That was the thing.
Exactly. They gave him his first name back.
Yep.
Triple H is letting him go out there and show what he can actually do. And yes, he's a heel, but he very well walks that line between the cowardly heel and the tough guy heel. Because he can be the tough guy when he needs to be, but he can be the coward and take off if he looks like he's in jeopardy of losing his title.
I think this will also be a good chance for Bronson Reed to kind of show what he can do as well.
Oh Lord, he's going to kill some people in that chamber. Because I've watched this dude. I watched him in NXT, but I'd seen him before on the independents. And then when he got let go by WWE, he went to Impact and New Japan. This dude's a monster. He's just agile. Like he's like Vader. He's like Vader but shorter.
Mm.
He has that low center of gravity like Rick Steiner always had. And but this dude is a monster. I mean, he's going to some people are going to need some ice baths when they're done in this chamber. Montez Ford is probably going to dive off a chamber, which I'm waiting to
Probably.
see.
Yeah.
Is if he hits that. No disrespect to Rob Van Dam or Eddie Guerrero. Montez Ford has the best frog splash I've ever seen because the hype that he gets and the
Yeah.
way he lands, and smoothly, like he'll come all the way over and go right into the pin. And it's like all in one smooth motion. And it's like, if he does that off the chamber, I will pop for that.
I'll probably hear the pop all the way from here.
Probably. I'll be texting you like, did you see
Did you see the hit? And I think this will be also a good chance for Gargano and Priest to kind of show what they can do
because Gargano's an excellent wrestler and he hasn't
Mhm.
been able to show it since he's come back. Priest is good. Like I've followed him since he was Punishment Martinez in Ring of Honor. He's a former Ring of Honor television champion. And he was excellent there. He was North American champion in NXT. He's been ever since he's been in the Judgment Day, he's been killing it. So yeah, I think this is going to be a good opportunity all the way around. Well, I mean, we know what Seth Rollins is capable of. There's not going to be, we know Seth could have the flu and a broken ankle and still give you an excellent match.
Yeah.
It's just how good the guy has gotten. But I think this is just going to be an excellent showing from everybody in this match. But I still think Theory's going to win because I think Cena's on the horizon for Mania.
Next match is the women's Elimination Chamber match, and it's for I like the stipulation. It's not for the title; it's for a title match.
Yeah, it's for a title match at WrestleMania.
And I'm like, okay, that stipulation also makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
There's Asuka, Liv Morgan, Nikki Cross, Raquel Rodriguez, Natalia, and Carmella. Okay, how many people are they going to have with just have the women have just one name?
Okay, so we know Carmella's not winning.
Nope.
Natalia's not winning. Natalia's the gatekeeper for the women's division. Carmella's had her time in the sun, but they're not going back that route again.
But she'll still give you a good match.
She'll still give you a good match, but that's about all that is going to be. Natalia's not winning. Liv Morgan's not winning. They've already done that experiment with her as champion, and it did not work out. I mean, it wasn't her fault. It was booking.
Yeah, it was. They booked it stupid.
But still, the fans are not ready for her to be champion again. Not yet. So we've got Asuka, Raquel Rodriguez. Who's left?
Nikki Cross.
Nikki Cross. They're not going to give it to Nikki Cross. I don't see that.
Not yet, because
because she's just the crazy woman, Nikki Cross. So they got to build that up before they have her going for the title.
They should have never moved away from that.
Raquel Rodriguez is good. She was good when she was NXT Women's Champion. She's going to get even better, but I don't think it's her time yet. And plus, they're not going to do face versus face. Now, they generally don't do face versus face, but I say that, but Asuka, especially this Asuka, because the Asuka that she is now is more like the Asuka that she was in Japan.
Right.
And it wouldn't take anything for her to turn heel. And because Asuka always dances that line between.
Well, not only that, but what's your money match with all these women here? Who's your money match against?
It's Bianca and Asuka.
Yeah,
it's Bianca and Asuka is the
exactly.
Money. That's the money. Because Asuka's music hit,
and
everybody is on their feet.
You know what? I'm getting chills just thinking about that match. That's
me too. It's like
it's like
that's going to be because I mean Bianca can go and she's so strong, and Asuka is one of the hardest hitting wrestlers, male or female, that I've ever seen, and she is double tough, and it's going to be a fight. That's what I want to see. My pick for that is Asuka.
Yep. I mean, honestly, I wouldn't mind seeing Raquel Rodriguez because I know they're pushing her, but I don't think she's ready for that match at WrestleMania just yet.
I don't either. I still don't understand the logic in storyline wise. I understand the logic with Rhea Ripley challenging Charlotte because 3 years ago at WrestleMania, Charlotte beat Rhea Ripley for the NXT Women's Championship.
Right.
So now it's come full circle. And Rhea Ripley, who is the hottest female wrestler in WWE right now, she should beat Charlotte at WrestleMania for the SmackDown Women's title. The Judgment Day's on Raw. So how do we do? I was hoping for Rhea and Bianca at WrestleMania. That for me, that was the money match. I mean, Charlotte and Rhea will be money, but not the same type of money match that you're going to get with Bianca and Rhea, because people have been waiting for that since the Women's Royal Rumble last year or the year before, when they were the final two. And so, like I said, I don't understand the logic, booking wise, the logic of her challenging Charlotte when she's a Raw competitor and that's the SmackDown Women's title. But I don't run WWE, so
well, for once they have long-term book, storytelling.
yeah,
because
they have long-term storytelling. Yeah, because that
Yep.
was 3 years in the making. From when she lost the NXT title to Charlotte at WrestleMania, which I didn't think should have been done. There was no need for Charlotte to. I mean, Rhea Ripley was on the rise as NXT Women's Champion. There's no reason for her to lose it, especially to Charlotte. Charlotte didn't need
Right.
it; she had already had it before. So,
well, I'm actually going to go out of order a little bit from what they have listed, because they have the Roman and Sami listed, then the Edge, Beth Phoenix, Judgment Day. But I'm actually going to go to the Bobby Lashley and Brock Lesnar match next. And the reason why is because Justin from TNC Sports Talk,
okay.
he actually sent some questions, and specifically about uh, Bobby Lashley and Brock Lesnar. And he said, why are we seeing them at Elimination Chamber instead of WrestleMania? And at first I was like, you know what? I had not really thought about it, but I am now. And he was thinking that they may have this as like the blow off match. I'm like, no. I said, I don't think this is the blow off match.
Mm-mm. No,
not when they have.
This is no, not when Mania's coming and they're going to put as many matches, especially being 2 nights. They're going to put as many big matches on that card as they can. I think my prediction is Bobby wins this one, whether he cheats or whether he wins it clean. Bobby wins this one because Brock won the first match at Crown Jewel.
Yep.
Bobby eliminates Brock from the Rumble. I think Bobby's going to win this one, and then we have a rubber match at Mania.
And
because then they'll be tied one apiece. So,
and Justin asked, well, what? I said it'll be at Mania, the blow off, the rubber match, whatever you want to call it. It'll be at Mania, and it'll be a gimmick match. And he asked, well, what gimmick?
oh yeah,
Hell in a Cell.
it'd be perfect.
Yeah,
yeah. Because right now there is no other feud that warrants the cell.
Yep.
More than Bobby Lashley and Brock Lesnar. It's the only way to contain them. You're not going to have. You can't have a lumberjack match. Is not going to do it because they're going to maul whatever lumberjacks are in there.
Yeah.
Security can't keep them apart. Referees can't keep them apart. Put them in the box and let them go.
Yeah. And not in a normal cage match. It has to be a Hell in a Cell.
Put them in the cell and let them go. We need blood.
Yep.
Because this is a blood feud. We need to go Jim Crockett Promotions, Memphis, old school. Let them bleed, because that you have two legitimate fighters inside a cell. There needs to be blood, because if they were fighting anywhere else, there'd be blood.
There'd be blood. I mean, yeah.
But I'm going with Bobby Lashley.
So am I, and because I think it needs to be Bobby Lashley, and I think at the blow-off match it needs to be Bobby Lashley.
Yeah, because here's the thing: if Brock wins again, one, that makes Bobby Lashley look weak, because it looks like, oh well, he can't beat him, and people will go back to when Bobby beat Brock for the WWE title. But that's not this feud. This feud started Crown Jewel. When Brock came back, it was Crown Jewel. He beats Bobby. Bobby beats the crap out of him after the match. So Bobby got his heat back. Bobby dumps Brock out at the Rumble. So I think Bobby should win this one. And like you said, I think Bobby should win. If they go to Mania with it, Bobby should win that and win the feud.
And the one thing Justin did point out, he said I get a little worried because these two men have shown in the past they can get hurt with each other. I mean, and they've had legitimate injuries.
Oh yeah, yeah. Because because they don't with each other. They know they don't have to pull it. They don't have to hold back
Right.
because both of them can take it. So it's like they're both just like, come on, give me what you got.
Yeah. And so I mean, I think that it's going to be a brutal match no matter what.
Oh yeah,
You
yeah.
know, one thing I really hope they don't go to, okay, let's do a falls anywhere or a street fight, or I'm like, no, I
No,
don't want to see that.
no, I
I
don't.
don't.
I don't want to see that because those have gotten so overused that they're not even interesting anymore. Just give me a Hell in a Cell match at WrestleMania.
Yeah, and this is one that warrants a Hell in a Cell.
Yeah.
It's yeah. I'm glad they seem to be. I think they're actually not going to do like the gimmick match pay-per-views anymore.
The way they were talking is those are gone.
Yeah, I mean, and yes, I know Elimination Chamber is kind of a gimmick match, but it's a once a year.
But that's different. It's a once a year thing and it ties in to the Royal Rumble and WrestleMania. It's
Yes,
fallout from the Rumble and the road to WrestleMania. So the chamber I'm fine with because there's always stakes that lead into WrestleMania.
exactly. And and they haven't done Hell in a Cell in a while, have they?
No, not since the last Hell in a Cell match was it Edge and I can't remember.
It's been a while, so
Yeah,
they
because it
haven't
was
oversaturated it like they were before.
yeah.
Uh, but yeah, so I agree. I think it should be Bobby. I think it will be Bobby. Um, because I will always cheer for Bobby Lashley way before I cheer for Brock Lesnar anyway.
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah,
Um,
same. I mean, I'm liking Brock more now just
yeah,
because they're not sticking him in they're not okay, here's the thing. They put him in the title picture against Roman, but they did not have him win the title. I'm
right.
fine with that. I'm fine with Brock putting people over because at this stage in his career, that's what he needs to be doing,
Hmm.
is putting people over. I'm good with this Brock, but I still like Bobby Lashley more. So I got to go with Bobby Lashley.
Now, granted, both those guys are legit athletes. They're legit fighters.
Mm-hmm.
So actually, I'd kind of like to see that. All of a sudden, they break into a shoot fight because one of them makes the other one mad.
Right, right.
Oh, um, the next match I'll talk about Edge and Beth Phoenix. The Copelands. What they just call them the
Yeah,
Copelands. The Copelands versus the Judgment Day. Just call them Judgment Day. See,
yeah,
y'all need to let Dwaylen and I do the names. You
yeah.
really do.
It's just Judgment Day. It doesn't have
Judgment
to.
Day.
There's no need for the. It's just Judgment
Yeah.
Day.
Because okay, you calling it the Judgment Day makes it sound like it's a band from like maybe the early '80s. Judgment Day, that's a good thrash metal band right there.
Yeah, but what they should have done was use the name of the song that they used as the name of the group. The Other Side.
Oh,
That's what they should have
now
gone with.
that would I've been okay with. The Other Side, I'd be
Yeah,
okay
exactly.
with
That's
the
what they should have gone with because they're always trying to recruit people over, and it's like, come to the other side. It's like it's right there in
yes.
your lap, people. You even use the Alter Bridge song, "The Other Side," as their entrance theme when they come out as a group. So it's like, how did y'all not piece this together?
And while they're coming out with the Alter Bridge song, Edge is coming out
Yep,
with
with
Metalingus.
yep,
There is a band, a metal band, string metal. Okay, it's a genre I've never heard of,
I know.
out of Oklahoma, named Judgment Day. A violin, a cello, and drums.
Hmm. Sounds
I will,
interesting.
I will have. Wow, formed in 1988.
Well,
Yeah, melodic death or thrash metal. Um, okay, so I will have to put it on my to do to go check these guys out. Um, wow. I kind of figured somebody had the name
mm-hmm.
because it does sound like, a cool name for a metal band.
Yeah,
But this match, the Copelands, Edge and Beth Phoenix versus the Judgment Day, which is Finn Balor and Rhea Ripley. Um, and
Judgment
they,
Day should win because
yep,
Rhea should win. Rhea Ripley should win every match he's in, just because I am a massive Rhea Ripley fan,
I could not tell.
and I just think that this this is she is the future of the women's division
Yeah.
because she's always been good, but she has really come into her own with the character work, and she's got the look and the power and the she has that presence that it factor that they always talk about that people need to be a big star. Rhea Ripley has everything to be the centerpiece of the women's division in WWE for a long time.
They should have already had the title on her.
Yeah.
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 And well, there of course Damian Priest is going to be on the outside for Judgment Day. Dominic Mysterio is going to also be there.
Mm-hmm.
Where's Ray? What happened to Ray?
Ray's been on SmackDown, doing not a whole lot of nothing. So
I mean,
unless Ray comes out with, unless Ray shows up, because they've still been doing these little vignette things where Rhea and Dominic have been just ruining family get together that Rey Mysterio has, and that stuff is top notch. That is,
I mean,
oh my god, it is hilarious.
Oh, the whole ex-con Dom thing.
Yeah, the whole ex-con. It's
I didn't
great.
think I would.
I thought it was going to be stupid, but he leaned so far into it that it's like, all right, bravo, dude, bravo.
Yeah, and I think that's what it is. They probably told him go have fun with it.
Yeah, go have fun. Yeah, Triple H is probably like, here, this is what we're going to do. Go have fun with it.
Yeah,
just have a good time.
And one of the few negative things about the Royal Rumble was they never Ray just didn't come out.
Yeah,
they never, and Dominic came with the mask. It's like,
yeah,
what's
so
the deal?
But they never showed Ray get beat up, so they just left it to your imagination. But yeah, they never. So it was only a 29-man Rumble,
right? And so they really, that's something I'll say, they honked it up a little bit, but I think Ray will somehow get involved in this, and I think the Judgment Day should win. I think bringing back Beth Phoenix all the time is not doing anybody any favors. Bring Edge should retire again, do it on his own terms instead of being forced to retire.
I need both him and Beth to retire. I mean, they have nothing else to prove. They're both Hall of Famers, multiple-time champions.
Become ambassadors.
Get out of the way. Yeah. Get out of the way.
And apparently they live near Nicola Roberts because she posted a picture.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So because they live in Western North Carolina, and she also lives in Western North Carolina. So I'm guessing they live kind of near each other. But yeah, you're right. They have nothing left to prove. And I don't think this should be their last match. I think WrestleMania should be it.
But I think this needs to be the last ride. I think they need to just. I mean, it's time to.
And it would not do Judgment Day any favors if Edge and Beth won this match.
No, especially it's not going to do Rhea Ripley any favors if she's if she's in a losing effort when she's already challenging for the SmackDown Women's title at WrestleMania. It
kills her momentum.
Kills her momentum going into Mania. So yeah, I'm going with Judgment Day. They're probably going to cheat to win, which is fine because that's their
heels
group. Yeah, that's what they're supposed to do. But I'm picking Judgment Day.
I think Ray will somehow get involved.
I think it backfires though.
But
I think Ray gets involved, but it backfires, and that's how Judgment Day wins.
And I think they somehow spin this into Ray and Dominic having the match at Mania, which is what I'm pretty sure as a family, that's what they want anyway.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. It's kind of like,
and that's what he's been training for ever since he turned heel. That's what they've been leading to this because Ray's about ready to hang it up.
Yeah.
And
he doesn't have anything else left to prove either.
No. And what better way for him to pass the torch than to do it at WrestleMania against his son?
I mean, Matt and Jeff Hardy, they had a match at Mania against each other. That had to been, because their dad before he passed away. I'm pretty sure he was just absolutely loving that. So, but the last match, because there's only 5 matches on the card.
Yeah, and that's smart. Yeah, it's smart. There doesn't need to be 10 matches on this card, and nobody gets time to do anything.
Right. I mean, now they'll still stretch it out to 3 hours somehow, but
because the main event's going to take a chunk of that.
Yeah, and plus all the promos and everything else. Main event: Roman against Sami Zayn, and Justin had a couple more questions about that, and he says 2-part question. Number one, Cody Rhodes states on Raw he wants Sami Zayn at WrestleMania. I know most will overlook this, but this kind of puts Cody in a position on wanting to face the weaker opponent compared to Roman. Number two, WWE has a problem, and that is Sami Zayn. Sami is the 2014 version of Daniel Bryan, and it would do an
Yes.
injustice
Yes.
not to have the hosted WWE star not be at a main event at WrestleMania. Although the storyline is laid out for the tag team titles, there's a huge setback for what he's been able to do over the last 8 months. Losing in his hometown Saturday, we can see a fan explosion Saturday night. Also, is man, Justin wrote a lot of this. Also, Sami isn't in that WWE title picture at WrestleMania. We can see a fan reaction that ruins Cody Rhodes' road to the title. Yeah. So
here's what I'm thinking. Sami's not going to win Saturday. He's not. Roman's going to win because Roman is the face of the company, and Roman should be champion going into WrestleMania. Roman should not lose the titles at the Elimination Chamber when there's a much bigger stage at WrestleMania to lose the championships and have more eyes on the product. Here's how I would book it. Roman beats Sami, but Sami is so over that it's like Daniel Bryan.
Yep.
Sami gets himself inserted into the main event of WrestleMania, and it's a triple threat.
Yep.
If they want Cody to be the champion, then Sami gets to be in the main event of WrestleMania. Cody pins Sami to win the title. And then Roman has a gripe that I was never beaten for the championship. So you're walking around with my titles. So then that gives you a feud with Sami Zayn gets his moment. Cody gets his moment by winning the titles. Roman automatically gets a title shot because he wasn't the one that was pinned.
I'll throw one more thing in there. You remember at WrestleMania 2000, Benoit, Jericho, Kurt Angle. Kurt Angle had European and Intercontinental title.
Yep, and both titles were on the line at the same time.
And he lost both without getting pinned.
Yeah, because because here's the thing. With that in mind, that changes my whole thing. If we go that route, Roman could still lose both titles. Sami wins one, Cody wins the other, and then Roman's got to chase them both to get his titles back.
Right.
Which means you get Roman on Raw and SmackDown because Cody's going to take say Cody wins the WWE title, he's taking it to Raw. Say Sami wins the Universal title, he's on SmackDown anyway. So that works out good for both networks because then you get Roman on both shows.
Yep.
Because he's legit the biggest star in the company. And each network gets a world title on their program again, which is what they've been wanting ever since they unified them. That's why right now the United States title is the top title on Raw because it's the only singles, male singles title on Raw.
Yeah, the U.S. title is on the USA Network.
Exactly. But I think they should be split. I'm generally one that was like there should be one world champion and he should just float between shows.
Bingo.
But with the roster that they have and with Roman on a more limited schedule than he usually is, I think they need Mania would be the perfect time to split the titles. Roman, even if Roman does, because it's been rumored that Roman's probably going to take some time off after Mania. He should. He's packed this company on his back for 3 years.
Yes.
And has made them so much more money than he ever would have made in that cheesy babyface role that Vince was so hell bent on him having.
Yeah.
The tribal chief, the head of the table gimmick has been one of the absolute best things to ever come out of WWE. And it's because they let Roman do his thing without, no scripted promos with sucker and succotash and all that stupid stuff. They just let him go out there and be the final boss of a video game because that's what Roman is. From the music to the way he comes out, everybody's like, oh, Brock Lesnar's like the final boss. No, Roman Reigns is the final boss of WWE. It's like You got to go through this guy and get this guy. And it's like, okay, I'm ready. And
Well,
then Roman's music hits, and it's like, ah, this is who you got
yep.
to go through. and
And,
and and
and
he's done that himself.
yes,
He has built that. He didn't, this wasn't, uh, in the words of Tully Blanchard, this is not something created by a booking committee.
right.
This wasn't created by the office. This wasn't, anything like that. This was Roman went out there, did the best character work he's ever done in his life, and built this thing from the ground up
Yep.
simply with the fact that they just allowed him to be heel and run with it.
And I think another thing why it works so well is because, yes, for wrestling purposes, yeah, he's the head of the table. Oh, it's a gimmick, whatever. That is a real thing.
That's a real thing.
So
in their
the
in their
Polynesian
culture and a
culture,
lot of cultures, that is a real thing. There is
yeah,
a head of the table, and everybody eats because of the head of the table.
right.
So, yeah, that is a legit thing. He just played off his heritage and went with it.
Yep. And the fact that his cousins,
Yeah,
it was two cousins, now it's three cousins, are
yeah,
right there.
yep.
And his dad and his uncle, remember when him, was it him or Jim? Was it Jay or Jimmy that
It was
actually?
Jay.
Oh, was it Jay? Okay.
Yeah, main
And,
event Jay. Yeah,
yep.
when they
And
had it was the match they had before Hell in a Cell because they had two title matches, and it was the singles match they had before Hell in a Cell. Yeah, his dad and his uncle were on the stage
they
and
gave him the
put the
lays.
lay on him. Yeah,
Yep. And because that's when Jimmy actually came out because Roman he was like putting the boots to Jay, and
yeah,
Jimmy got on it, and he's like, man, he said that's Josh, man.
yeah.
Which all of a sudden, he's using his
His
real
real
name is
name. Yeah,
Josh, and I can't think of what's Jimmy's actual name.
I can't remember.
I have to look it up. Um, but yeah, so when he said, that's Josh, man. I mean, it was like, okay, so that gave it more of an air of realism. Um, oh, Jonathan. All
Oh, okay, okay.
right, makes sense.
You got
It,
Jonathan, Josh, and Joe because
and
Roman's real name is Joe.
Joe. Yeah. Well, his first name I can't pronounce it.
Yeah.
Um, now I'm gonna have to go look. Yeah, because his middle. Oh, Leati,
Okay.
Leati. You
Okay.
know, Joseph Joe Anawai. Now, so
Hmm.
I can do the Anawai. Got that? Got the apostrophe in there. That indicates a break.
But
So,
yeah, but would that be one of the biggest pops WWE's ever had if Sami Zayn beat Roman Reigns?
oh,
The
in
roof would
Montreal,
literally come off if he
yeah,
beat him in Montreal. But this is going to be, and this is another example of when you let people do what they're good at. Sami Zayn has gotten himself over.
yes,
Sami Zayn has put in the work and gone from a sidekick in the bloodline to the main attraction.
hmm
Every week people tuned in to see what Sami was going to say or Sami was going to do, and now it's like it's at a fever pitch. People are just like they want this for Sami Zayn.
they want him to hold the title, and even though I will say, Sammy's not a long term champion,
No, Sami's not a long-term champion.
but he is the underdog who
Yeah,
captured it, and then he'll lose it within a month.
yeah.
But
Now the only way that this works is if they decide at the chamber that Roman's only putting one title on the line.
right, that's
Then
true.
Sami
Yeah.
could win. Then Sami could win that title, get the huge
Ooh.
hometown pop. Sami goes to the Mania, and so does Roman. You still get, since it's going to be two nights, you're still getting two world title matches.
Mm-hmm.
But who does Roman face? Unless they decide, okay, the titles have temporarily been split. Sami defends against Cody. Roman gets the winner take all.
So kind of like a WrestleMania 10 scenario.
Mm-hmm.
Then that would mean whoever, they would have to have, because at 10, Brett and Owen opened up the
Mm-hmm.
card
Yep.
because Brett was going to have the title match against either Yokozuna or Luger,
Yeah.
either
Which
one. So it
Brett
guaranteed everybody had two matches.
yeah,
So,
and Brett and Owen was the best match on the card, and it was the opener, and nobody could follow it.
and the second best on that card was Shawn and Razor
Yeah,
in the ladder match.
And that, as good of a match that is, they still couldn't follow Brett and Owen.
Oh no, no,
I
no,
mean,
they didn't.
they couldn't top it. They followed it, but they couldn't top it.
There's no way because it was just way too much good wrestling,
Oh yeah, it was
too much.
just two master tacticians.
And the way the match ended with the victory roll. Oh, it said
Yes.
nope. And
Yep.
I was
It's
like,
like, nah.
yeah. I mean, I like the way it ended. Um, and plus, I mean, and that led to when Brett won the title later on. Now
Hmm.
Owen's like, now
Owen's
I gotta, yeah,
yeah, Owen's like, but I already beat you. So
yeah, and but yeah, so that's the only 5 matches that are on there, and I think Justin had some very good points.
yeah, he did.
You know, of course, that's why he has his podcast where he asks those questions because he has his podcast. He doesn't just cover wrestling; he covers sports,
Yeah, yeah.
and he goes for 2 hours. Normally, he's solo, and
Hmm.
he's been trying to get out at 6. He's actually been sick lately. That's why he just came back.
Mm.
Just released a couple more shows, and so I'm glad to see him getting
Yeah.
back in the swing of things.
Yep.
I try to listen live when I can, but 6 o'clock in the morning, that's usually I'm driving, so it's
Yeah.
kind of hard for me to.
Yeah.
But yeah, they don't really like you to watch YouTube while you're driving.
No, I can't imagine. No.
Of
I'm
course,
sure they're not a fan.
it makes me wonder about the guy who passed me. I was in the left lane on 275, and it's a 3 lane, highway because it's the loop around Cincinnati.
Hmm.
I was going about 80, 85, and this guy, I could see him in my rearview mirror. He's like weaving. All of a sudden, he gets up behind me,
Hmm.
and he's like right up on me. We're talking, like I'm giving him a piggyback ride. That's how close he was to me. He was in a newer model Buick Enclave. I barely tapped my brakes. I wasn't going to give him a full on brake check because he would have smacked into me.
Hmm.
So I tapped on my brakes. I see he goes back up, I tap it again. All of a sudden, he goes around me on the left side. He's on the shoulder of the road going about 90, 95 miles an hour. And then cuts back over and almost hits me to get back
Oh
in the lane.
Lord.
And I'm like, what's so important that you got to do that? You know,
Hmm.
but I imagine he may have been watching YouTube. I don't know.
He might have been. You never know.
One thing that I meant to mention at the beginning of the show, going to give our condolences and thoughts and prayers out to the family of Jerry Jarrett. He passed
Heck,
away,
oh,
was it
yeah.
yesterday, I believe?
Yes.
Um, so I mean, we're talking like legend in the business.
Oh yeah.
You hear,
Legendary promoter. Yeah.
yeah, I mean, you hear a lot of stories, good and bad, about him.
Hmm.
But I mean, if it wasn't for Jerry Jarrett, we wouldn't have had the mid Southern / USWA,
Hmm.
all that.
Without Jerry Jarrett, there would have been there'd be no Impact Wrestling now because there'd be no
Yeah.
TNA Wrestling
Yep.
because he started that with Jeff.
And he seems like he's one of those that I don't want to say polarizing. I don't think it was that bad, but I mean, you do have mixed opinions, but nobody
Hmm.
can deny the impact he had on
Yeah,
wrestling.
I agree.
And I imagine he taught quite a bit to his son,
Hmm.
Jeff, and so I mean, he has a legacy that will live on. But yeah, we just want to definitely pass on our condolences to their family. So,
Hmm.
and I cannot think there was not a whole lot of other news happening this
No,
week.
not really. I mean, once the chamber pay-per-view is over, I figure news will ramp up because we'll start seeing WrestleMania take shape and there'll be a lot more stuff going on.
Yeah, and there is an NWF show going on this weekend in Covington. I'm probably not going to go to it, just because I'm just kind of burnt out. I'm just going anywhere. That and Tawana and I, we were not able to do anything for Valentine's Day, so we're actually going to
Hmm.
go out.
Right.
But we're going to get back in time to watch Elimination Chamber because the pay-per-views are now on Saturday nights.
Yeah. Yep.
So that if you're wanting to watch an indie show on a Saturday night, well,
Yeah.
go,
It's
well, I can
like,
always, I want to watch the pay-per-view, the premium live event. I want to watch that live, but I also want to watch, the
yeah.
indie show because the NWF puts on a good show. But I'm going to err on spending time with my wife because I wasn't able to on the actual Valentine's Day. So we're going to go and have some lunch or dinner somewhere.
Hmm.
Um, and on March 11th, if you can make it up here, is the thing in Pachillicothe, the Fan
Oh,
Fest.
okay.
So told Leighton, I was like, "You want to go?" And he's like, "Yeah." So he doesn't want to watch the wrestling.
He
Um,
just wants
he
to
wants,
interact with the wrestlers. Yeah.
yeah. Even though he said he really doesn't like watching indie wrestling anymore, he wants to watch WWE. I'm like, the ones that are actually in these matches at the Fan Fest,
Mm-hmm.
there are a couple of indies, but most of these are like established
Yeah.
stars.
Yeah.
You know, Rock and Roll Express are going to wrestle. Um, of course, I mean, we know it's one of their last matches.
Oh yeah.
I had it pulled up earlier. Shane Douglas and somebody are going to have a match. And let me, I have to actually go to their Facebook page. World Classic Professional Big Time Wrestling. That is the name of the page. It's actually ran by Heinz Dillon, who is Bobby Fulton's son. Bobby Fulton, his real name is something Dillon. Oh no, something Jimmy Hines.
Mm-hmm.
Um, let me go through this big old list of people who are supposed to be there. RVD is supposed to be there. You can tell that even just by seeing the.
Yeah, just by seeing that. Yeah.
So, Sting's going to be there. He will be wearing paint. He will not sign bats.
Okay.
They actually have that list on there. Will not sign bats. Um, RVD mentioned him already. They're going to have an NWA Legends panel, which I'm like, okay. Mass Superstar and Crusher Khrushchev, also known as Axis Smash from
Mm-hmm.
Demolition.
Yep.
Nasty Boys, um, Enzo, Henry Godwin, Two Cold Scorpio, Rock and Roll Express. Jimmy Valiant's going to be there. So guess what I'm going to take with me? That right there.
Yep.
Let's see, Honky Tonk Man, Devon, Tommy Young, Arn Anderson, Brock Anderson, Ron Simmons. Damn. Um, Dan Severn. Actually, you know what? I want to talk to Dan Severn, and I want to ask him. Do you remember when there was an idiot who told Hawk he wasn't allowed to smoke there in the airport
Yeah.
because you were sitting with him? So, um, see Shane Douglas, Jack Victory. Wow, there's a name we haven't heard in a long time.
Oh yeah.
Sabu, Mr. Hughes again. Mr. Hughes, I'm thinking he must live like somewhere
He must live
close.
close because
Yeah. Bushwhacker Luke, Carlito Colon.
Carlito.
Carlito, I spit in the face of those who are not cool.
Yeah.
The Fantastics, Bobby and Jackie Fulton. Shark Boy, who Shark Boy is from Dayton, so that's why he shows up at all these things.
Mm-hmm.
Scott Romer, I don't recognize the name. Hustler Rip Rogers. The Real Drago, don't recognize this one. Jordan Carlisle, the name sounds familiar. Bobby Blaze, Sam Houston, and I know Sam Houston. He lives in North Carolina, so I mean, he just
Yeah.
Bill Apter. I would love to.
Yeah.
I definitely want to meet Bill Apter because I got some questions for him about the magazines.
Yeah.
And he's one dude. If I could get him on this podcast, and now he may charge some money. He ain't gonna do it for free, but we'll just have to see what we have in the petty cash. So
yeah.
Kerry Morton, Ricky Morton's son, Greg Valentine, and in some of the matches, Big Mama's going against Savannah Sweet.
Oh, okay.
So I said it was Two Cold Scorpio and Shane Douglas.
Okay.
Yeah, so
man,
yeah.
And they went all the way back to 93 for that.
Something like that. Yeah.
Well, that they were in the finals of the
Was it ECW?
The NWA World Heavyweight Title Tournament.
Oh, was that the one where
Shane Douglas wins the NWA title and then throws it down and declares,
was it that one?
That one. Yeah, 10 pounds of gold. Yep. He picked it up and he said, he said something like, biggest moment of my life. And then, his dad was deceased and he looks up at the sky and he's like, I'm going to do it, Dad. And then he's like, for this Ricky Steamboats and the Terry Funks. And then he pauses. He's like, and the Ric Flairs. He's like, you can all kiss and threw it down, picks up the ECW title. And he said, I will not be the flag bearer for a promotion that died RIP 7 years ago.
So
and
that was what not killed, but
that's what
Yeah,
Put
all of a sudden,
NWA. That's what put NWA on ice for a while, for
yeah.
pretty much until, I mean, it turned into an indie promotion until Billy Corgan bought it,
And
and it's still kind of like an indie promotion, but it's just better financed.
because Dan Severn, he won the NWA
Yeah.
World Title
Yep.
after that.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
So I'm wondering if I should just take that belt
There you go.
and have him. I just knocked the Ultimate Warrior down. So I'm wondering if I should take it and have him add his autograph
Oh yeah.
right next to Tommy Rich's.
There you go. Yep. Dan the Beast Severn.
Yep. I could actually have Shane Douglas. Technically,
I mean, technically, he's still in the record book as the NWA World Champion.
yep.
He's just, he forfeited it as soon as he won it, but he won the match. He beat Too Cold Scorpio in the finals.
And the wild thing is, he was also Intercontinental Champion
for like 20 minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is really sad. He actually held that belt longer than what he held this belt.
The NWA World Title. Yeah.
It's going to take me a little bit trying to get this thing back up here now. But, well, you know what? I'll just deal with it later. Let me go pick the Warrior back up. And not only the Warrior, but I know I showed a picture of it to you, but
yeah.
Yep. So, and in case anybody's wondering, this is Drew McIntyre's sword. My wife got me that for Christmas, and she also got me this Warrior statuette. And now, anytime I practice giving an Oscar speech,
it's like, there you go.
Oh, I know one thing I forgot to mention: IMDb. We're on IMDb, so.
Oh yeah, yeah.
So that's why I'm going to tell people, look, recognize.
I mean, we're kind of the big deal now. We're on.
We are. I mean, we are. We are a big deal. So. But yeah, so the next couple shows, I mean, we're going to do we're going to be recording Sunday. In fact, I actually, I sent a message to Jamie before I started recording, and I was like, hey, just want to make sure you're good. Because we had rescheduled it 2 weeks ago. And unfortunately, because of health reasons, he couldn't do it. And this time he said, Lord willing, and the creek don't rise, we will be ready.
Yeah.
So you can tell he is from Kentucky.
Yeah. Yeah.
So he is Jamie is a diehard UK fan.
Oh, okay.
John is a diehard Tennessee fan.
Mm.
He didn't grow up in Kentucky. So every once in a while you'll hear them kind of talking trash to each other.
Yeah.
And we're just going to have to talk trash to Jamie a little bit. Of course, Great North Carolina is not doing as good as what they should be.
That's true.
But you know what? UK is not doing that great either. And they're actually calling for Calipari to be fired now.
Yeah.
Which I'm like, we told y'all he's a good recruiter. He's not that good of a coach.
Yeah, we did. Yeah, excellent recruiter, but the coaching leaves something to be desired.
Yeah, he may have been the one who started the one and done stuff, but once the other coaches who were better than him started
figuring it out,
that's all we're saying.
Yeah.
So, and but on that note, I cannot think of anything else. Can you think of anything?
Me either. No, I think that's it.
All right, but until we talk on Sunday, my friend, I'll just have to say good night and God bless.
Yep.